Hello and welcome everybody, and thank you guys for joining me again. My name is Wilkie and I'm here with the Shadow Arena update for the final beta breakdown. We're going to be taking a look at the patch notes and things they changed. The link is as usual in the description below if you want to check out the patch notes yourself. And yeah, let's just dive right into the thick of things. Unfortunately, we got the patch notes a little bit late, so this will have to do. A few general changes here. The resurrection mechanic got changed, the crouching got reworked a little bit. We have an auto run function. I think this one's kind of neat. Can make your life a little bit easier on certain occasions. I haven't used it myself yet in the couple games I made so far, but I think this can be useful for certain things. If you're like, if you know you're like running a straight line for like a good 10-15 seconds, you want to check your phone or something, then this can be useful. Obviously, you do have to pay attention so that you don't get picked off or something. I guess the most important things are character or hero changes. So let's dive right into that as well. Goyen, as expected, got a nerf. So his Iron Pulverizer has reduced movement range. So it's not like a super homing Stinger missile. I mean, it still is fast, but it's not as lengthy as it used to be. So his engage got nerfed a little bit. This is probably the most drastic change Goyen received after all of this. Corpse Cut has reduced damage, and you now consume more HP, but you also recover more HP, so this is more... They wrote it like you're getting a little bit more punished for spamming, which is essentially what they did there. If you just whiff your skills, you're going to be losing your HP faster, but when you hit them, you're also going to recover them faster, so it really just balances out. Same thing goes for Gravedigger and a Blood Fury as well. Jump attack after sprinting reduced movement speed by 20%. This is useful, or kind of was needed, because Goyen had a very good jump and was able to sort of chase people with that, and I think they wanted to address that with that. That's at least my guess. But all the Goyens, or the Goyen mains really, it's not as bad. Sure, this one's probably the one that hits you the hardest. The rest, you still hit like a truck. If you get the initiate off, your combo game pretty much works the same. You still hit like a truck. So yeah, really it's just mostly about this one if you ask me. Gerhard Schultz, the Berserker, reduced stamina consumption of his RMB and increased the cooldown time by 1 second, so he's not going to be using it as often, too much. Haru, the waifu of the Shadow Arena, Heartstab, got fixed the visual effect. I'm not quite sure if there was any, because you know sometimes you don't really see a whole lot of things going on. The stun you upon hit, that one's very good. I got caught off guard a bunch of times with this one, so this one is really freaking good, I think. I don't think it was needed, but it does help her for sure. You can capitalize on it by dealing some auto hits in between, and it generally creates a lot more room for you. So and Shadow Stab got improved, so you're faster, you can jump and stuff like this. So generally, she's more capable now to actually use her RMB, because prior to that, you really had to lie in wait and ambush to make use of it. I'm a little bit worried to say that it's quite annoying right now how it is, so it might be toned down in the future, but right now it's at least feasible. So there's that. Jeanhua or Yanhua, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Bond Cut immediately turn the camera, so you can turn the camera now, and the Bond Cut is the counter. Fallen Flower, same thing. So generally they try to address some character camera issues there, which is really good, because it's quite tedious if you have your camera locked in place during certain skills. And the thing that I am a little bit, well, not sure how it worked in the past, but if you use your RMB, which is like the dash thingy, if you move at least 50% of the distance, then you're gonna have a 5% increase, and if you move the entire distance, it's gonna be a 10% increase. I'm not sure if there's a visible buff now. I haven't played her after the patch notes, but it's definitely there. And you can now change directions. I think this one's very scary, to be honest, because right now if she used it, you pretty much only went in a straight line. Now the directional changes might be a little bit scary to deal with. So my fan favorite Badal got nerfed, unfortunately. Not really as hard. I'm not sure why he got nerfed, but he got nerfed still. Same thing here. You can now immediately turn the direction of the camera. You can sleeve tank. You cannot rotate your grab. So the way, or the rotation, does only apply to your camera. So if you grab an enemy, you're gonna throw him that direction. You can't turn it. So you can't like grab them at the edge of the fog, turn around and throw them into the fog. That doesn't work. Golden Gate got fixed and changed a little bit. So stamina consumption I think was a little bit changed. And someone on the Discord said, I haven't checked that myself, but that's probably true. Depending on how far you stack the buff, the more stamina it's going to be consuming, because reapplying the buff does consume stamina. So there's that, and you will gain less DP, so you're less tanky now these days with the buff on. I'm not sure if he was that tanky in the past. I think it was good because he has little to no defensive moves. He has only one super armor. His ranged ability leaves him very open. He doesn't have any block. He doesn't have any how should I say this, non-risky move to use. Sure, he has his R&B, but that one takes a lot of stamina, and you need that for good combos, initiation, for pretty much everything. So using that for dodging kind of leaves you vulnerable in other parts. I'm not quite sure if that's the case or why they did that, but hey, it is what it is. Jardine Dukas didn't really have such a huge nerf other than his Spear of Serendia, which I think is fair because the KD on that one was fairly long. 1.5 seconds is still very long that they can pretty much run up to you, kick you, and then still use their ground slash. So yeah, it just leaves him a little bit less reliable, or makes it a little bit more, I guess, fully capitalize on it, which is good. Ahankiro surprisingly didn't really have that many retouches. RMB is getting a 50% cooldown increase from 2 to 3 seconds. I'm not quite sure. I mean, the stamina consumption is still there, but that is definitely 50% nerf, at least on paper. And Dark Mark does not debuff you as much anymore. 5% may not seem like a lot, but it's definitely feelable, and certain combos may or may not result in a kill anymore, so there's that. Orwen, I never played her, so this one's a little bit hit or miss for me. Aerostorm hits now up to 3 enemies in close range. I'm not quite sure. That seems a little bit good. And change damage in general for Aerostorm. Then the projectile speed of her 3 is increased by 35% on the first arrow, which is pretty damn fast, I think. And the damage now has decreased, if I take this correctly. If you hit both of the shots, then apparently the damage reduction is now lower. They changed it. I'm not sure what it was prior, so I'm not really sure how to interpret those. And Explosive Trap can now be used on mobs. I'm not sure if they're maybe for Shadow Lords or something. And can change to explode in chain when installed. Okay, so it can now change the bombs. I'm not sure. There's going to be probably few occasions, but generally I think you don't really have the time to prepare the battleground for that one. So I think in the future we might actually see a rework of this ability, but that's just my guess. And Heroine, her basic attack speed has been reduced by 7%. I'm not sure what the point of that is, but hey, that's how it is for now. They added, or as far as the hero changes goes, that's pretty much it. So we see some slight changes. Overall, I'm pretty confident that they're trying not to completely derail the game balance, which is good. They're slowly trying to get things done. And let's not forget this is a closed beta, so things are about to change, and things will change. So, as far as content goes, we now have AI matches, so you can play against bots, which is really good. You can't really obtain rank points, obviously, but you can check out the map, you can try combos and things like this. So I think it's really good that they implemented that one. So added normal matches. This is a mode for solo game that does not affect rank, so essentially like a public match from MOBAs, if you will. So you have like a ranked mode and a normal mode. And they're apparently doing some get for that. Mailbox, probably for future item, the title receivement, something like this. You now have also a tutorial, which I think might be quite useful, especially for players who never touched BDO. This is a nice touch here. Add in recent matches. I think that one's very nice to have a look back at what your games were like, what your score is. Do you see like a trend or something? This is really cool. Added my info, so some character stuff. So yeah, change names of the gameplay modes. So a lot of UI reworks and tweaks. And matchmaking per tier for solo games is more precise. So they probably changed something of the formula, how MMR is calculated or how they match people. As far as that goes, the Dark Fog now constricts to a much smaller zone after 23 minutes. Honestly, I only had one game that lasted longer than this. The other games were much quicker, but maybe there's people who like to run a lot and can drag out the game, especially certain heroes can. So, and ranking points were changed. It's important to maintain a high average score for obtaining they changed ranking points. I think that translation is a little bit weird. So generally they're saying it's more important to get like a consistently higher score than to have like peak games where you get like 15 kills and then you like lose 3 games in a row or like be place 30. This is probably what they were trying to address. So somebody who's generally higher up the ranks, not necessarily by kills or generally just being higher up in the tier, will be obtaining more rank points. I'm not sure how that plays out in terms of kills versus staying alive ratio. Because if you followed the PUBG tournament ages ago, people figured out how the mechanics work and managed to cheese their way through the tournament by just circling around and staying alive rather than fighting, which is obviously not something we want, but we yet have to see that. Automatic HP recovery is increased, and they generally, I'm not going to go over this whole table, but generally they decrease the amount of points you need for pretty much every item. So going over the Shadow Lord's armor and weapon, I think it used to be 140, so we're down to 120. For those stuffs, I don't really know. I think Dragon Slayer used to be 70 if I'm not mistaken, something about this. And that's pretty much there. Same thing here. They added, or they changed 3 monsters. They added Spectres for every hero, so there's not only Gohan Spectre, but pretty much everyone. The appearance of the Hungry Black Spirit, he's now like a little teal thingy, not sure. And they added Stoneback Crabs. The 3 of them, they have specific locations. I have not seen any of those yet. So they have a Demi River Stoneback Crab, a Mountain Stoneback Crab, and a Steppe Stoneback Crab. These give you different buffs. I think this one is quite brutal if you ask me. Like 700 AP is a massive amount of damage you can dish out. And that's for 3 minutes. If you get this one Sorta late game, you can pretty much delete everybody. Likewise, early in the game, if you find this, you can probably just mop up everyone in the game. That movement speed is kind of handy, but more of a quality of life feature, so you're going to be running faster on things. I'm not so sure what I like to think about this one. I have yet to try that, whether or not that only changes or makes you immune to the damage from the Black Spirit itself, or also the zone. So you essentially have the zone damage once you're outside the safe zone, but you also have the Black Spirit that spawns there and deals damage to you. So I'm not sure if that completely makes you immune or just from the hits from the Black Spirit. Have to try that one out. And there is generally a rework of certain mobs and anything, and the Ruins Golem now grants skipping game at 300% a buff for that. A few items got changed. This is probably the last important part about these patch notes. Helmet now grants HP recovery, gloves now grant attack speed, shoes now grant movement speed, and the sub-weapon now grants damage against monsters. Starting from the green gate, so pretty much once you start getting green items, you have a little boost like this. I haven't really felt any difference. I have yet to try combos with gloves on and off. I'm not sure if we can kind of establish like a rule for that. It might be useful for certain classes, especially John Wow might be capitalizing on that one quite a bit for stun locks with auto attacks. As far as myself goes, I haven't really figured out anything I can't do without the attack speed that I can, and vice versa. This is something we'll essentially figure out as the game goes by. And yeah, a bunch of things here fixed. The Black Spirit blob that kind of signals where the safe zone is going to be looks different, and Latent got reworked. And this is pretty much all for the patch notes. As I said, unfortunately this video is late because they didn't really give us the patch notes earlier. Pardon me for that. And as far as myself goes, I will be playing, as I said today, I will be streaming around about 15:30 CEST. So check out my Twitch if you want to see me live playing some Shadow Arena. As far as the rest goes, I will keep out dishing content to keep you guys entertained. I'll record pretty much as I can during the 3 beta days, and we'll bombard you guys with content future on. So yeah, let's see how things go. I'm very happy to play the game again, and hopefully you guys are too. So have a good one, take care, and see ya.